I'm not delivering breaking news by telling you that the Brooklyn Nets, since the acquisition of James Harden, have been a disturbingly bad defensive team. In the 13 games since doing so, they've given up an average of 124 points per game. While their offense may be, as James Harden likes to put it, scary hours, scarier is the fact that a lot of the teams they've played aren't necessarily teams you would think they have to worry about in the playoffs, such as the Cavaliers, the Wizards, who put up 149 points, the highest total. And the defensive incompetence that allows this to happen ranges from anything such as personnel problems to a flat-out lack of effort. I think both of these factors were on display last night in the loss against the Pistons, in which they gave up around 120 points, and this is against a team that is ranked 23rd in offensive rating and is also by record the worst team in the Eastern Conference. Sure, they did not have Kevin Durant. It seems like each night they're missing one of the big three for whatever reason, but a lot of the things that led to these defensive breakdowns aren't something that's necessarily fixed by having Kevin Durant on the floor. I thought their effort against the Clippers, their effort at least, was adequate, and I watched that one especially close because I believe that's a team, if they were to make it to the finals, that's somebody they could see. And of course, if they can give an adequate effort on that end, then they have enough offense to overcome just about anybody in the league. But the playoffs are a different game. It's all about matchups, and given what their defense has been since James Harden has gotten there, if their defense remained this way as the playoffs approach, there would definitely be squads out there that would be able to pull out 4 wins just by abusing their lack of defensive competence. But what we saw against Detroit last night could have possibly been one of their worst efforts. Let's take a look. So Blake Griffin is going to take James Harden down to the post, where he is in theory his most effective on defense, but see, this is the problem. Once you can get the Nets defense that far under the rim, you rarely ever have any kind of resistance. And it's mainly because DeAndre Jordan is your only help, and if he helps, there's no help after that. So you will see DeAndre Jordan somewhat show himself. Blake Griffin is just going to go to a crafty spin here, but there's zero resistance as DJ is just kind of in the middle. Jeff Green is covering for him because that next pass would maybe be to Mason Plumlee. Of course, then you get into conversation about who is going to cover a pass to the corner, but operating against the Nets, you rarely ever have to get that sophisticated. You can just go to a simple move and it's going to be 2 points. Now, the problem for the Nets is if you do add any kind of sophistication, they break down at one level. So here you can see that DeAndre Jordan is going to show a lot earlier. Jeff Green is going to help on Mason Plumlee, but nobody is going to help on the cut here, and that's very basic. There's no help. Jeff Green was kind of lost in space, didn't know where he was. Free 2 points, no resistance from DeAndre Jordan. And really at this age and stage, a wise choice by DJ probably would have just been a foul. Jeremy Grant is on one. So the last 2 Blake Griffin post-ups have led to points, and here's going to be a third in a row. This time, it's going to be an and one, and again, no resistance. I think Harden is a great low post defender, but also against guys relatively his size. I'm sure Blake has got a decent amount of weight on him. And if Nets defense is going to be stubborn and not show any type of help, there's just not going to be much he can do. Now, this play is particularly disturbing as it's very easy to get the Nets to just fall asleep. That's a wide open alley-oop with nothing sophisticated happening. There's a screen that looks like it may lead to Blake cutting through the middle, but he's actually screening for the ball handler. You see that DeAndre Jordan is going to shift over to the middle, but as this is happening, nobody is looking at Mason Plumlee. Not one player on the floor is aware of where he's at. James Harden is just kind of here, caught between the middle and the wing, and Plumlee's like, I have a free 2 points here, and yes sir, you do. Once again, if you can get the Nets to have to make a second effort, that's where it's particularly ugly, and even on broken plays here. So I actually applaud what James Harden did on the first effort. There's already a double on the catch down here. Harden is going to come up and take the layup away, and that's cool and all. How much can you really blame somebody on a broken play? I don't know. You can clearly see the ball going to a Detroit handler, and the entire time, if you look at James Harden, after he slaps the ball away, he's just kind of lost. He's just there. Maybe getting ready to run on a fast break with this team, maybe getting ready to stay, but it's no man's land, and it leads to a free 2 points, and that's just the problem. These are just too easy. Now here, interestingly enough, what might become a Nets problem, you see they are playing one quote-unquote big in Jeff Green, and the Pistons are playing 2, Blake Griffin and Plumlee. Joe Harris has shifted down to Plumlee this play, and they have managed to force Jeremy Grant into somewhat of a tough shot with the shot clock winding down, but there's absolutely no effort to finish the defensive play. With Joe Harris having to hold off Mason Plumlee, he's not going to be able to offer much help, and he's not a rim protector anyways. Jeff Green is helping as much as he wants to off of Blake Griffin before maybe giving up a 3, but as Jeremy Grant starts his attack, there's zero resistance. There's a Harden slap, and then there's 2 points. And once again, this just kind of goes with that theme that if there's a need for Brooklyn to make a second or third effort on the defensive end, you're probably just not going to get it. All right, bro. Kyrie Irving is on Blake this time. It's not James Harden, it's Kyrie. There's got to be some type of effort that doesn't involve a slap at the ball. There's got to be more here. There's got to be more because you know this is going to be 2 points from Blake. So if you're DJ, you possibly help a little bit harder, maybe force Jeff Green to rotate over, then maybe get Luwawu Cabarrot to have to shift down to the corner. Whatever rotations need to happen there, I feel like you make those before you let their power forward back your point guard down into the paint and see zero resistance. DJ at least makes the effort to look like he's going to jump here. He does not. And who knows, maybe it's a good thing because this happened more than once this game. When DeAndre Jordan does make the effort to jump, there's just nothing behind him. It's free 2 points. So this one was just terrifyingly easy. They had this entire left side of the floor to operate with. You got Mason Plumlee near the 3-point line and DeAndre Jordan just kind of in space. So no real effort at rim protection. Wright sees that and he's going to attack that. See, Jordan doesn't even get into position until it's far too late. But when he does try to get the block in, he did make it a bit tough. Yeah, you just don't have a second rebounder there, and that's a personnel problem for the Nets. Teams can just play whack a DJ on defense, and you can bet good teams are going to be going at him, especially if he's on the floor in crunch time, which I'm not sure at this point if he will be, but it's because he's going to be dropping. He's going to be dropping or playing the drive on plenty of these pick and rolls. So right here, this is just a very easy mid-range shot. Imagine LeBron coming off a screen like this, or just any proficient mid-range shooter that you're going to see in the playoffs. And yeah, you don't necessarily want DJ to come up high because he's going to be beaten off the dribble. So what I'm trying to say is DJ is not, he's not the starting defender for this team that you're going to want in the playoffs. I'm trying to be as nice as I can here. And just to keep the theme recurring, this is a simple one action, one effort play. That's all you need to beat the Nets. Oh, you don't believe me? Okay. DeAndre Jordan involved in pick and roll again, dropped back in the paint, splash. So you've got DJ playing the paint here, but you've also got Kyrie playing the drive as well. He's going to kind of go under here and zero resistance. If Kyrie had gone over here, you would have still likely seen Jeremy Grant go to the left and probably force the Nets defense into some type of rotation that they wouldn't make. By this point, they figured out in the pick and roll, they can just abuse DJ. So Wright is going to reject the screen here, one effort, and he's going to shed DeAndre Jordan. This is easy. This is basically like pickup basketball at this point. Behind the back, and Harris, he's gone. He's lost. DeAndre Jordan, you're not going to get any kind of great movement out of him. You're not going to get great effort out of him once you've got him in this position. You got Mason Plumlee rolling. And then, as a much smaller player, he's just going to use his strength to shed DJ here and get a wide open layup. Once again, once DJ is gone, there's not a second adequate helper. Okay, so on this play, DJ is now off the floor. You're going to ask the Nets offense to do more than one thing. There is a cut, boom, boom, bucket. See, what concerns me is this just looks like a practice drill. Of course, Mason Plumlee, bigger player here, is going to force help. Great cut from the corner, also great cut from the wing. The Nets defense is totally lost. They could have gotten that bucket faster. And Jeff Green tries to make an effort, Luwawu Cabarrot as well. There's just nothing there. So once again, the mismatch, you are going to take a big and Blake Griffin from the wing that is going to force help. But to further complicate things, you're going to get an intelligent cut down the middle right here to take away help from the wing. James Harden completely in no man's land. That leads to a wide open three. And see, here this is interesting because Harden is in a gambling spot with Joe Harris tagging the cutter here. James Harden, if he doesn't get a steal, he's completely taken out of the play. And you've got basically two open guys here. Possibly anyways. If you go to the top, that's probably going to be a drive and rotation. But again, you don't need it. You don't need more than one effort. This play goes under the category of disturbing. Inbound. There's going to be a pass here to Plumlee. Boom, boom, bucket. It's practice. The minute the ball is inbounded here, you're going to get Brown, I believe that is, just completely lost, just ball watching. And a half a second late on the steal, nothing there. I'd like to believe that the Nets have enough offense even without KD to come back 10 on the Pistons with 5 minutes left, but there's no effort. What's interesting to me here is he is going to completely dust Joe Harris. He's going to spin completely into the lane. Maybe could have went up and yeah, he probably had an open layup. But the interesting part is if he wanted that layup, he had it. Kyrie is here, but once again, just watching. He wasn't making an effort to come over and swipe and help Joe Harris. He wasn't aware of where his cutter was, which is going to lead to the perfect pass. Didn't even need to, didn't need to make anything complicated there because the Nets didn't do anything complicated. So there are a lot of factors going into this season. Guys are in and out of the lineup because of health and safety protocols. There's not as much practice time. So for a lot of teams, the defensive end is kind of horrendous right now. However, Brooklyn has structural problems like James Harden just kind of being lost on some of the plays you saw here. DeAndre Jordan absolutely not being a starting level defender. Picks and screen action are a quite common tactic. And if the defense is going to break down at the first level with DeAndre Jordan because he's dropping, or you can't put him up high, life is going to be miserable against elite teams. Now, of course, once you have all three of the superstars on the floor, there's nobody who can really stop them either, so this squad is either going to make some structural changes before the trade deadline, or they are going to become the first team to win the NBA championship with just absolutely horrendous defense. I don't know, it's going to be fascinating. Let me know what you think about these 13 games since the Nets have acquired James Harden. Do you think they'll be able to just shoot their way to a title? Is there some move out there you think would really help them? Leave it all in the comment section below, and also hit the like button and sub if you enjoyed, and hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications every time a new video drops. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.